I don't know about you, but when I go to buy something online or anywhere, I never buy the cheapest because there's something in me that tells me I'm paying more because I'm getting more. And that's what I want to do in any of the businesses I help, is help them get more. But at the same time, you have to give a little bit more to the customer.
I think that's the most challenging thing for a lot of companies starting out is like, you can promise the moon and the stars, but then it doesn't happen. And then you end up having very upset customers, right? So how you are able to like operationally make that happen is something I really want to get into in this podcast.
How do you keep teams motivated in the home service or roofing industry?
You got to find what drives them, right? Like, just like when you go in and you're trying to make a sale with the customers, find the time to talk to your employees. What makes them happy? What do they enjoy? Do they like to go fishing? What do you want, right? Because that's a huge thing for me. And that's what they did at ProScale too, is we know you value your personal time. Let's create a process that allows you to do your job quickly and efficiently while still getting paid the same, so you can go home and do the things that you love to do.
So if you had to start all over with $10,000, what would you do first?
That's a tough one. $10,000. I would...
Welcome to Built to Scale, the podcast where vision meets action. I'm your host, Quinn Schilz, founder of Master Roofing, and I'm here to pull back the curtain on building world-class teams, scaling companies, and turning bold ideas into unstoppable momentum. Let's get to work. Today's guest on Built to Scale, we've got someone who's literally helped engineer multi-million-dollar growth in the home services industry and roofing industry. Drew Zanga is a partner and general manager of Legacy Roofing, where he's the architect behind the day-to-day operations, scaling the business from the ground up, and masterminding everything from team building and KPIs to ServiceTitan integration and multi-department management. Before Legacy Roofing, Drew spent his years at ProScale Services, one of the top HVAC companies in Arizona, where he built an entire service and operations infrastructure that powered explosive growth. Now Drew and his team are preparing for private equity acquisition, and he's here to break down the roadmap of scaling a home service company from the chaotic early days to systemizing operations, building winning teams, tracking the right KPIs, and ultimately creating a business investors want to buy. We're going into how he built it, the biggest wins, the biggest mistakes, how AI and ChatGPT are shaping the future of his business. Drew, welcome to Built to Scale, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, what's the single biggest mistake most roofing or home service companies make when they're trying to scale?
Well, there's quite a few, and one that I like to focus on is really it's your price book. As you know when you talked to me initially, that was a big point. But what I find with some of the clients that I help, or just any businesses that reach out, is that their price book isn't very well defined. And so when I started really getting into ServiceTitan and just being more a part of operations, I found that everyone has this, and I'm going to jump into the sales side and why it leads into the price book. But a lot of times it's, you're sitting there, you're at the counter with the customer, and things are being asked from the customer to you as a salesperson, and you don't really know where to navigate to, right? It's like, hey, a competitor is charging me this. I really want to use your services at this price. How can we negotiate? And there's two things that typically happen. One, it's either the salesman's just going to go out on a whim and make the deal, right? And that's okay, because some money coming in is better than no money. You can cover your overhead, but you may not be hitting that profit margin that you're looking for. When you develop your price book and you really put together and spend the time and put all the little bits and pieces, what that does is it empowers your employees as well as you to know exactly where you need to be. Everyone puts a little bit of fluff in there, right? We all know that someone's going to try to negotiate and try to get that better deal. The better deal is just whatever makes them feel good. But within your price book, if you've got all the bits and pieces and you create an automation or a system, your salesperson, your tech, anyone knows exactly where they need to be. And, you can make items that they can select that automatically go to this avenue, but you can't do any of that unless your price book is robust. So that would be where I would focus it, is the price book. It's not so much everything else, because you have to sell things first to make the money. Right?
So it's like they need to make sure that they have all of their pricing set up, understanding their margins, and that has to be done down to the detail, like in your
Very,
CRM.
very detailed. Like, a lot of people are like, are we really going to go down to the nuts and bolts? Yes, because it all adds up. Or, at the end of the day, are we going to lose sleep over a couple, $20 missing? No. But if you start off that way and are very lax and, let it go wherever, then that tends to move up to the larger priced items, right? It's very important to get your pricing from your vendors, input it into ServiceTitan. It's laborsome, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. But, when I first got into management, the old owner of ProSkill, Travis Ringy, before I got into it, I asked him, I was like, hey, what's one thing that I really need to learn? And he goes, learn Excel. And he gave me one formula. It's the VLOOKUP formula. And I just took off.
What's that? What's VLOOKUP?
So VLOOKUP is a vertical lookup to where you have, your data sheet that you're looking at. Vertical lookup's going to look up an array. So take a material list, for example, or a pricing sheet from a vendor.
Okay.
You're going to have a column that's usually going to have their ID or the name. And what a VLOOKUP is I can go on another sheet and have it reference a specific item on that sheet, but I don't need to tell it where it's at. It's going to look for it, and then it's going to return a value that I'm looking for based upon a column. It seems like a complicated formula, but it's super easy. I use it all the time. Obviously now with AI, it makes it a lot easier, but back in the day, I was going on Google, Excel forums, trying to find the formula that I needed. My hat's off to Excel. It's the greatest program out there.
When did you know that Legacy Roofing could be a multi-million-dollar company?
Well, when we acquired it, it was already a multi-million-dollar company. But, obviously we've been a part of acquisitions. ProSkill got acquired by Service Champions. And then once I got into that realm, I started to understand really what those types of businesses are looking for. Private equity doesn't always really want a super successful business. You're not going to buy a business that's already doing well and expect a return on it. So what they look for is they look for businesses that have areas for growth. They're already doing well. They already have the backbones of what needs to happen to run a very successful business, but they want to come in and tweak a few things. And so we were looking at the roofing industry. One, obviously when you get acquired, you sign non-competes. You can't compete against your old company, so plumbing, air conditioning, electrical is off the table. And we wanted to look for a home service business that was kind of in its infancy that showed a lot of potential. And roofing came to mind, right? Like most roofers are one or two man shows. They work out of their truck. They worked for a company. Now they're doing it on the side. Like it's just not a very polished business, at least where we're at. Like obviously you've got a great business here. But, in Arizona, it's
You see that in the competition here everywhere, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's chucking a truck.
Yeah, they're just going to do it as long as they can until they get caught, and then they go do it again. They just rebrand. So
Yep.
We really wanted to bring our customer service that we developed at ProSkill. Like that was above all, and that's why I loved, when I started there, it literally felt like you were on the varsity football team. It was based out of Anthem. We got 80%, even 85% of our, I think when I left, we were at 26 million. 80% of that came from one community. Like, I don't know of any communities around here, but literally like it was a Del Webb or that type of community. And we got all of our revenue from it, but we did it by customer service. The customer really was always right. We sold by education. We made sure that there was no stone unturned to ensure that the customer never was unsure of what they were buying. And going back to the varsity football team, you'd go to any of the gas stations there, random people would walk up to you. They'd see you in your ProSkill shirt, and they would say, oh my gosh, you guys were just at my house yesterday. So-and-so was there, did an amazing job. And that made me have so much pride. This was when I was an installer. And when I got the opportunity to get into management, I wanted to carry that on. Then the owners kind of stepped out a little bit. It was myself, Garrett, and a couple other key members. Michael Farina comes to mind. And, we just embodied that method that was so ingrained into us by Tyler and Travis. They just wanted to blow the competition away, not because of the price, because, we were decently priced, but because customers wanted to use us for our customer service. right? That builds the value. And what I always tell my team at Legacy is we provide a premium service for a premium price. We're never going to be the cheapest, but we are going to make sure that for what we do charge, we deliver on that value, and that's what gets customers to come back. I don't know about you, but when I go to buy something online or anywhere, I never buy the cheapest because there's something in me that tells me I'm paying more because I'm getting more. And that's what I want to do, in any of the businesses I help, is help them get more. But at the same time, you have to give a little bit more to the customer.
I love that you say that. Down the road in this conversation, I want to kind of understand a little bit more about how you delivered on that promise, because I think that's the most challenging thing for a lot of companies starting out is like, you can promise the moon and the stars, but then it doesn't happen. And then you end up having very upset customers, right? So how you were able to like operationally make that happen is something I really want to get into in this podcast. Cause I think that a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
How much revenue did your company make in its best year, and how did you guys get there?
With Legacy?
I don't know. Biggest company.
So I would say the biggest company that I've personally been a part of has been ProSkill, and I take a lot from what I learned over there. And obviously we're trying to do that with Legacy. But when I left, we were right around 26 to 28 million. I don't remember off the top of my head, but every year, we had compounded growth. When I first stepped into management, I want to say we were at about 14 million. And obviously our biggest revenue driver was install, and that's what I came in as an install manager. And then a couple short months later, I became sales manager as well.
So you really have gone through all the different ranks in these companies.
Started as an installer in 2016. I had installed for another company prior. And then there was an opportunity for sales position, and I really wanted to sell. I like the money. I like to talk to people. I always go back to when I was a little kid. I could con my parents into getting me anything. But I took that and I went to Travis and said, hey man, like the next time there's an opportunity, I really want to become a salesperson. And he saw something else in me, and I really appreciate that in him. And he hey, we're going to be needing an install manager. I think this would be a good stepping stone. It could lead to other things. And within a couple short months, I was sales manager. I knew, and that's what really took my Excel experiences. I needed to figure out how to build all the pricing. And that's also where I learned that the price book really is the foundation of a good business, is because you need to know what's incorporated in it. And with air conditioners, there's so many variables, and that's where I used to VLOOKUP a lot. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started.
So if you had to start all over with $10,000, what would you do first?
That's a tough one. $10,000. I would, it's all about scale, right? So I would scale down what I'm doing now and try and orchestrate that money into a little bit of advertising, a little bit into a software, really try to streamline it, because as the name of your podcast is, you need to build it to scale, right? And what you're doing with, and I tell this to my team too, what we're doing now may work now, but it's not going to work later when we're twice the size. So invest the money in knowing where you want to get. You need to have a really good plan of where you want to be, because if you're just taking shots in the dark and hoping stuff works, what are the odds that you're going to be able to replicate that?
What was your hardest hire or the hardest fire you ever had to make, and why?
Hardest fire. I mean, they're all pretty difficult because, we develop relationships with our teams, and we try and find what their strengths are. And obviously they're either there for a reason before we got there, or we brought them on. I would say the most recent difficulties have been a part of the original team of Legacy that we had to let go. They were the original owners, really good friends from high school. They'd kind of all grown up together and built the business together. But they were just stuck in their old ways. They didn't want to adopt ServiceTitan. They when we came in, all jobs were on a yellow notepad, and every job was classified in a manila folder. And when I came in, I thought this was a joke. So hopefully they don't take this the wrong way. But they had completely forgotten about a job because the manila folder fell behind the copier. And I was just so perplexed. I'm like, how can it, because we purchased them when they were doing 10 million. And I was like, how can a company just lose money? You spend
a $10 million company.
A $10 million company. How could you lose a job? You know, you've obviously built something that's working great. And the fact that you spend so much money, you know, you've got costs to get to the customer to even give them a proposal. You've got all these costs that go into it, and yet just the simplest thing, it just fell. Like, it blows my mind. But yeah, those were the hardest ones. There's a couple older guys. They gave it their all. I really appreciated it. But, you know, the moment it got tough, they'd revert back to the old way. And going back to ServiceTitan, it's only as good as the information you put in. So they're not putting in any information. Balls were getting dropped, and finally we just had to make the tough decision to let them go. And it was tough. You know, the prior owner had to let go of his good friends.
What's one KPI that, you know, if a roofing company was to track it obsessively, would change their business?
Costs. What is the cost to do the job? Like, it's not your traditional sales KPI, but that's something that I track religiously.
Yeah.
You know, when we go and estimate a job, as a salesperson, your job is to provide an option to the customer to resolve their problem.
Yeah.
You're an expert. You're supposed to be a roofing expert. You should know every bit and piece that goes into that job. And if you don't, you know, you're leaving money on the table. Whether it's should have been a change order or now we're running around getting more and more material, like, we really need to make sure that we are estimating it appropriately and charging what we need to make our return.
When did you know private equity was coming for your company, and what does that process actually look like?
Well, luckily for us, being that we already came from private equity, our names, well, not my name, but Travis, Tyler, Ishmael, their names are already kind of out there as really good operators and owners. So we kind of already have a couple deals. I wouldn't even call them deals at this point, but we have some people that are already looking at purchasing it once we get to our goals.
What does that process look like for someone who doesn't know, like with private equity? Like, obviously it helps that you have people that have a track record, right?
Yeah. Honestly, if I was on my own and going to do it, it's about networking, because you can get a broker that, you know, obviously they want to make money too. They're just going to try and find you the quickest deal. Really learn to talk to people, figure out who works best for you, and then let them know. And usually if you find a good one, they'll find the right person to purchase your business. Most of the times when you sell, it's not like what people thought. I remember when it got announced at ProSkill that, hey guys, we're selling, we immediately thought that Tyler and Travis are just going to leave, right? Take their vacation, leave, gone, never be back. But a lot of places, they require you to stay on board for X amount of time to make for an easy transition and really learn the business and keep those key people in. But yeah, just network, find people, find similar businesses, or find a business that you aspire to be like, and then talk to them and see what route they took.
And once you find like the right broker or the right person to put the deal together, then you have to go through like a whole due diligence process, from what I understand, right? There's a ton of that going on.
Yep.
And
you got to make sure all your records are clean. And it kind of goes back to just making sure everything's in ServiceTitan, because that can take a long time. If I recall correctly, it took at ProSkill like 3 months of diligence. And that's only what I saw. It could have been longer. But they want to make sure it's, the company's very clear on where they made their money, how they made their money, what bills they had, all that kind of stuff.
What's the dumbest decision you made in your early days, and how much did it cost you?
Still coming up.
How do you keep teams motivated in the home service or roofing industry?
You got to find what drives them, right? Like, just like when you go in and you're trying to make a sale with the customers, find the time to talk to your employees. What makes them happy? What do they enjoy? Do they like to go fishing? What do you want, right? Because that's a huge thing for me, and that's what they did at ProSkill too, is we know you value your personal time. Let's create a process that allows you to do your job quickly and efficiently while still getting paid the same, so you can go home and do the things that you love.
SoCal homeowners, why pay $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 for a new roof when instead you can get a new roof for only less than $100 per month? Here at Master Roofing, we serve homeowners with high-quality roofs with no hefty upfront costs. So give your house the roof it deserves with zero down and low monthly payments. Why wait? Click the link below to get you a roof you deserve for payments you can afford.
Dumbest decision. I mean, there's a ton. I make dumb decisions every day. I hate to say this to you, but nothing really stands out. I mean, obviously, sometimes even myself, I'll misquote jobs, thinking that if I was the worst decisions I've made is prejudging a client, thinking that they want something lesser in value because of a stupid decision on my part. Obviously, as when you're in sales or just trying to gauge someone, you look around, see what their surroundings are like, what they value. And I've made some poor decisions, but at the same time, I've done that same strategy and gone in thinking I was only going to sell an exhaust fan. And I ended up selling insulation, full house insulation, 4 systems, zoning. I'm going to make a lot of references to AC, but yeah.
So you're taking a couple $1,000 project to
upwards of 6-figure project. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about
misjudging a client, I think is huge.
Yeah. And talking about misjudging a client, like I tell my sales team right now, they're always like, oh, to go give an estimate on a roof is 30 minutes, right? You got to measure the roof, you talk to clients, see what they want, all that stuff. So I keep going back to my air conditioning roots, and we had a no compromise. You had to spend 2 hours with the client, no matter what, unless they told you to get out. Like, obviously, read the clues. Don't, I've got to be here for 2 hours, but build the rapport, right? People buy from people they know or they trust, and the only way you can build trust is by talking to them.
Yeah, some of these crazy companies that I started working at, it's like they would tell you you're 3 hours in the house and you're not leaving unless they call the police. There's some obviously that's not what we do as a company, right? And I'm not promoting that, but I'm saying it is important to build that connection and stay in the house if you're going to make a high ticket sale. You know what I mean? It's not just going to happen. Hey, it's $50,000. Okay, great. Let's get it signed and move on. You have to build trust. You have to build connection. You have to build value. You have to explain to them why they should be doing it with you, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of sales guys miss that. What's your favorite ChatGPT prompt? For running your business faster?
Well, obviously I got on ChatGPT, I would say at the beginning of this year. So there's tons of prompts. I use it heavily for Excel. A lot of my day-to-day is in Excel. I'm constantly running analyses on newer products, things like that. But I would say my favorite ChatGPT prompt right now is, what are my formulas? So every time I find myself consistently using the same Excel formula, I'll tell it to save it, and then it just runs out a list with a brief explanation of what I used it for, because you can get kind of in the weeds. But
what do you mean? Because you're building price books and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so price books. There's a lot of things in ServiceTitan. Obviously, I'm a ServiceTitan user that require importing and exporting of data. I used to work within ServiceTitan and going in and manually doing everything. And in my head, I'm like, this system is so robust, there has to be a way to do this quicker. For example, a couple of my air conditioning clients, they have over 15,000 different air conditioning systems in their price book. Could you imagine if I had to go and adjust the warranty on all 15,000 manually? It would take a month. There's no way. So we use importing and exporting. I use it to assist us in creating JSON code, like forms in ServiceTitan.
Okay.
So the forms in ServiceTitan, I use forms on every single job. Sometimes there's multiple forms that have to be filled. It's data acquisition. In the event that we go sell a job, I want to know everything about it. A salesman, why did you make this decision? Document it on a form. We've got pretty robust forms. But I use ChatGPT to help me identify errors in forms, which has also helped me learn how to write JSON code. And then recently I've been using it a lot to create Google scripts. So I use Google Sheets as well. And GAF just came out with this new product, as you're aware of, is the GAF Solar Shingle. And that kind of really excites me in the roofing industry. And I'm kind of going to go off track, but I'll veer back here. The reason it excites me is what I've found in roofing is there's nothing really sexy about a roof, right? You go buy an air conditioner, you've got different SEER ratings, you've got different operations types, that gives you something that you feel. You can feel more comfortable in your home if you spend a little bit more money on an air conditioner. You get a single stage, 2-stage, or a inverter. There's nothing like that in roofing. You can choose the color, and you get to pick up whatever shingle or tile or whatever comes with a better warranty. With the GAF solar shingle, there's so much more to it. It creates a return on your investment. It adds, reduces your power bill. You get tax credits and all that stuff. So there's a lot more content that we have to deliver to the customer to help them make an educated decision. Not everybody thinks the same. My goal is that I create a process that duplicates my best salesman or whatever I think the best sales process is, because I'm looking at what's getting us a better yield, all that stuff. So in ChatGPT, you can have it write a Google script. And I didn't know that this was a thing in Google or in Google Sheets or Google Docs or whatever you want to call it. But essentially, I have a Google Sheet that my salesman will input the data from the GAF solar shingle, what their anticipated annual savings is, what the cost of the project is. And because the GAF solar shingle comes with a 25-year warranty that covers your power production, covers the shingles, covers the solar shingles, we can input that information and then hit run on the script, and it will create a whole sales document that's customized to that customer. So they get to see what their actual roof is going to produce, what they have to spend. It's not a generalized, everyone's used to, if you have a 3,000 square foot home with this much roof surface area, you can expect to get this much back per month and so on and so forth. Ours creates it for their house. Like, hey, sir, ma'am, this isn't just generalized. This is you. So this is actually what you will get back in energy savings. This is what you'll get for your tax credit and so on. So I've been using it a lot to write Google Sheets to try to automate. I'm all about automating everything. Let's take out the human error, let the computer figure it out, and go from there.
That's insane that you're able to do that with ChatGPT. It's always interesting to hear how different people are utilizing it.
Oh, for sure.
If you could give one piece of advice to a 21-year-old who wants to build a $10 million company, what would it be?
Become a professional, know the ins and outs of the business, know where you want to go. That's a huge thing. You need to know what you're aiming towards, and be a good communicator.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Find the right people. Don't be afraid to lose people. Just find the best person for the position you're looking to fill.
How did you first get into the home service and roofing industry?
Oh, this goes way back, and I'm glad you asked. So, my dad's a general contractor. I grew up, always working on job sites with him. He worked for a big oil company or a company that owned a lot of gas stations. So I'd always been mechanically inclined. My mom's dad ran an air conditioning company or owned an air conditioning company ever since I could remember, probably before I was born. And because of that, both my uncles were in air conditioning. My oldest uncle had an air conditioning company, and I was in high school and needed a job because I had things I wanted to buy, and my parents told me that I had to buy them. So I went and worked for my uncle and worked for him for about 5 years. Then went and worked for my dad, and then I went and worked for ProSkill. So it started, I've always been in home services. I never had your standard job at a restaurant or anything like that. I immediately went into the field and got my hands dirty.
What did the early days at ProSkill look like before it was scaled?
Honestly, it was fairly similar to what it was like scaled. I mean, it was just scaled down. We worked out of a shop that was on their property. They had a steel building erected. I think when I started there was 2 plumbers, 1 install crew, and 2 service techs. And then when we sold, I think we were upwards of 60 employees.
It's crazy growth.
It is. Again, the Ringy brothers are insane. Just the way that they run businesses, and I'm super happy to be a part of their team. Like I know working with them, we will not fail, and I refuse to fail. I just keep pushing forward. I actually recently I get excited when we come into situations because it shows me that there's something that we can change to make it better. And that's really been my MO my entire life. Working for my dad would tell me to go do something, and I was always the person who would ask why. It wasn't why because I didn't want to do it. It was I wanted to fundamentally know what needed to be accomplished because I knew in my head I was going to redesign the way it was done and make it better. And that's what I did. So going back to your question, if I was a 21-year-old, is constantly think about how to make it better. Like, yes, reinvent the wheel, because that's all I do every day. I know that there is always a better way. That's what got me into automation. That's what got me into digging deeper into ServiceTitan to figure out that there's a better way, because there is. There's so much more to things out there than what you may think. Ask questions. Why? Why do we need to do it this way? What's the outcome? Something that always resonates really, highly on my list with me is, if obviously I know the starting point. The starting point is now. If I know the end result, let me get to the end result. I will make sure I execute on what the end result needs to be. Let me navigate it myself.
So with Legacy, what was the first system or process you implemented?
The first, right out the gate, before I really even got my hands dirty in the day-to-day, was ServiceTitan. It was creating that
Getting
CRM.
rid of the paper behind the copy machine.
Yeah, they were on AccuLinks.
I know it.
But a lot of a lot of companies don't fully utilize their CRM. They either use it just for scheduling or they use it just for estimating. Like, I knew I wanted to take everything that ServiceTitan possesses and figure out how to capitalize on what it does and implement it into the business. So that was the very first thing, is let's get it all in there. They use generalized scopes and it was very misleading. It worked, but I knew that there was area for improvement.
Did you guys start with retail or insurance?
We are heavily retail.
Why?
Just insurance isn't very big in Arizona. We don't get crazy storms. It's not super windy. Like, occasionally we get hail. And there's a lot of competition in insurance. And we like quick money, right? We don't want to have to wait go get the job done. Now we're burdening the costs. We've got to front all that money, and then we have to wait for insurance to get us paid. We don't, we'll do it, but residential work is where it's at. You go there, you knock the roof out 2 to 3 days, they pay you. You're not waiting for money. It's much better cash flow in a business.
When did you realize you couldn't grow without a team?
Oh, early on. I even know that now. I mean, there's only so much one person can do, or even with people with designated roles, like sometimes there needs to be a team just for that role. So very early on.
How did you make your first 3 to 5 hires?
I mean, a lot of the good people that I've hired have been organic. I don't find a lot of success with using Indeed or these hiring services. In roofing, we get a lot of walk-ins. But what I find is when you find an employee that has the right mindset and agrees with the vision and is working towards all the goals, typically they're going to surround themselves with people that are like-minded. And whenever opportunity comes, hey, if you got any friends, family looking to get into the industry, bring them in. If they're already in the industry, great. Let's interview them. All of the core people have been internally recommended. I found the best that way. Obviously, there's other positions that you don't really want to do that, but for what I feel are the key positions, I've always had the best success with, someone that knows somebody.
What's your framework when you know to fire someone?
Just this is a tough one again when you build relationships with your team, but when they're failing, like, you're failing, let's go back to the drawing board, figure out how I can help, how can I make your job easier? And if I make it easier and you're still doing the same thing, now I'm gonna have to start digging a little bit deeper. I'm gonna have to, hey, you got to CC me on every email. I need to figure out where the ball's getting dropped. And then it's a business decision at that point. Hey, it's not working out for you or me. Something's happening and you're not doing what you need to do, and I've equipped you with all the tools to do it. I think it's time to part ways.
How do you keep teams motivated in the home service or roofing industry?
That's a tough one because everyone's motivated by different things. Everyone's always like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. It definitely does. I hate to break it to anybody out there that thinks otherwise, but it definitely you can buy happiness with some money. to motivate people, you got to find what drives them, right? Like just like when you go in and you're trying to make a sale with the customers, find the time to talk to your employees. What makes them happy? What do they enjoy? Do they like to go fishing? A lot of guys in the trades just like to get out of town, right? So at Pro Skill, and we're going to be doing this at Legacy as well, if we hit our numbers, we'd go out and do a 3/4 day or a day and a half fishing trip. And the guys will look forward to that all year. It's not the same solution for everybody, but find out what motivates them. Hey, do you want more money? Do you want more time with your family? What do you want, right? Because that's a huge thing for me. And that's what they did at Pro Skill too, is we know you value your personal time. Let's create a process that allows you to do your job quickly and efficiently while still getting paid the same, so you can go home and do the things that you love to do.
At what revenue point did you know that you needed real systems?
Oh, I knew right away.
You've always been in like these bigger companies and acquiring them, kind of, huh?
Yeah. So when I first became install manager, obviously it's a blessing and a curse. Not even really a curse, I guess, but that I was an installer first. Because I was an installer first, I got to go be a part of building whatever the salesperson sold. And I'd go into jobs a lot of times and this was missing, that was missing. The customer didn't know that this might need to be changed. And so the very first thing I did was I went into ServiceTitan and I started messing around with the forms, and I created a sales form. Hey, every job we need to look at these things. As the install manager, this is what I'm going to require from the sales team. Document it. And as long as all this is documented, there's no reason that installer can't go and look at it and be able to build the job in his head the night before. And that's what I would do. I would go through, review it. I knew exactly what I was going to encounter the next day. When I'm in the office or in the shop, I'd grab all the stuff I needed. And we were doing installs starting at 7, and sometimes we'd be done at 11 o'clock. Now, usually installs can take 12, 14 hours in multiple teams, but we were able to knock it out because we systemized everything.
Cut out the work that you didn't need to double work on. And
yeah, the redundancy.
So you talk a lot about ServiceTitan, right? And
yes, I do.
You're with price flow and everything. We haven't talked about price flow much, but how do you use ServiceTitan to manage operations and KPIs?
It's just logging the data. The operation, there's so many different ways to utilize ServiceTitan. And there's a very common phrase, I don't know if it's been keyed yet, but it's workarounds. There is a workaround for everything. That truly is a blessing and a curse, because yes, you can get accomplished what you need to get accomplished, but as ServiceTitan is constantly evolving and growing, they're creating new features. And if you're not utilizing the platform correctly, it's much, much more work to be able to utilize it down the road. So I utilize forms to manage jobs, right? My thought process is even if we lose a job or the customer is undecided between us and another client, if you're extremely thorough in your roof survey, mm-hmm. when they decide to pull the trigger, and if it is with us, we've already got everything we need. We don't have to go back out, remeasure. We're leaving no stone unturned. I don't want to have to go back. I want you to go run another call, and I want you to be like, hey, that job's ready to go. I don't need to call, call them and say, hey, thank you for approving the sale. This is what the next couple weeks looks like, but I've got everything I need. So, forms is a huge one. Documentation on customer profiles, leave notes. If you see something that, is important to a customer, document it. So the next guy is coming into the situation already as informed as you.
What are the KPIs you track, like daily versus weekly versus monthly?
It's going to be all the standard stuff that everyone should be tracking. Close rates, turnover rates, average tickets is a big one. Where our marketing's coming from, marketing campaigns, what the success of those campaigns are. I track the total man hours on a job. So within ServiceTitan in the price book, you can input total hours for a service. So what we've been trying to do over the past past year is figure out, okay, if we're re-roofing a shingle house, Yes, there's a ton of variables, but on average, how much time does it take for us to do one square? Because all of our pricing is based on a square. And so the reason that I'm doing that is I want to get to a point that when we sell a job, on that estimate, obviously hidden from the customer, shows me what my estimated total man hours are. And when I have that, I can now formulate a team to get that job done within a time that I need it done. Say we're booked out for 3 weeks, but we've got a 2-day window. Okay, well, 2 days, how many man hours can I fit in that 2 days? Do I just need to staff up that job a little bit? Do I need to pull it back? Like, there's so much information that you can have within ServiceTitan to help you run efficiently and squeeze in extra jobs.
How do you manage the chaos, like between all the multiple departments?
Oh, it's definitely chaos management. Just checking in with the team. Like, it can be overwhelming. I tell everybody that they need to CC me on every email that they feel that I need to be aware about, especially when it comes to scheduling, potential clients, jobs that are ongoing. I just want to keep my eye on it because sometimes, again, people go back to their old habits or whatever's easiest for them, but it may not be easiest for the company. So I just like to keep tabs on it, slowly tapering back. Because the team is still evolving and growing, and with everything that ServiceTitan keeps coming out with, we're constantly evolving. So I just like to make sure I'm in the loop. We have meetings every day with specific groups. I've kind of wanted to shift back from having so many meetings because they become so regular. People get checked out fairly quickly. So just making sure everyone's staying involved.
How do you decide to reinvest profits versus taking money off the table?
Oh, it's super easy. We don't take any money off the table. The more money you inject into your business, the more money it's going to make you. So like, we're in it for the long game. It's all about scaling this business, whether it's putting more money into marketing or upgrading the trucks, because we do have some of our fleets older. Do we need to get more billboards? Do we need to invest in better tools? Because with private equity, you get a multiple on your profit. So the more profit that we can grow within the time period that we want to sell it, the more, it's going to pay back, could be 10, 20x on if we were to take that money out.
To talk about marketing and KPIs and stuff for a second, you just talked about billboards. How many billboards do you guys have with Legacy right now?
I think we have 5. We're not like the Ishmael where you see a next gen billboard every 2 billboards. It works, but when we got,
how do you guys pick where you put them?
It's in the areas that we want to be.
Okay.
Right. Like we're not going to have a billboard with our phone number. It's going to be very simple. We just, and we also realize that billboard branding or just marketing in general is not going to give you an immediate return. It's about awareness. Mm-hmm. We want them to see it constantly. And then when they have a roofing issue, they're like, oh, I remember Legacy Roofing. And that's what we're geared towards. So we have one stationery that never changes. It's got our logo and it lights up. It looks really cool. And then all the other ones are digital. So we get however much time on each one. But we're strategically trying to place them in areas that we know, like the subdivision is 20 years old. Okay, well, they're probably going to start needing a lift and reset, or they're going to need things like that. So it's very strategic as to where we place them.
Do you, when you're doing marketing and you're looking at like the reporting, are you pulling pretty much all your reporting for all those KPIs you mentioned a minute ago, like all from ServiceTitan, or is everything integrated properly, or do you guys have your marketing person kind of put together like
both?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a weekly marketing call. I'm not a part of that. Tyler is. He's kind of the marketing guru. So they'll get on a call and then they'll discuss what's working, what's not, what needs improvement. Is it us? Is it them? And then also, obviously, when we're booking a call on ServiceTitan to ask what the marketing campaign is, we've got a slew of them. So at any point within a month, we'll take a peek. Like, because one of them is we offer an incentive to our salesmen. If it's a personal lead, they get a 2% kick in commission. The way we track it is we give them a tracked phone number that's on their business card. And if that client calls in with using that phone number, it automatically places that as the marketing campaign.
I love that. And how many leads are you guys like shooting for like in the summer season, like per day?
Per day? So we have 5 full-time salesmen. So we're trying to hit at least 15 a day.
Are you guys pretty consistent with getting 15 leads a day?
I wouldn't say we're getting 15 a day just because like in our area, the market is kind of down, but we're definitely aiming towards it. I would say on average, the guys are running 2 to 3 a day. There may be a day where we have a little bit of downtime, but we're really pushing for it.
Because in the summertime, I mean, at least for us, like we notice like wintertime, you get so many calls because everyone has a leak. It's this like emergency kind of repair. I need repairs. Summertime, it's more like people who were waiting to do a replacement maybe, but they were holding off. But it seems like it's slower. So how do you maintain leads in the summertime versus the winter?
Well, for us, it's the adverse. So
Interesting.
In Arizona, the summer is monsoon season, so that's really when it picks up for us. And being that,
because the wind and causes damage to the roofs.
Yep, wind, rain, all of that stuff.
Interesting.
And then in the winter, so we're split. We're in northern Arizona and Phoenix. Phoenix is hot all the time. That's pretty consistent. But in northern Arizona, we have snow and stuff. So it usually tapers back during the winter because the snow's not melting and they don't know that they have a leak. But again, it's good and bad. It kind of keeps us at an even keel year round.
What's one project that went horribly wrong and what did you learn?
Well, a big project, and we'll talk about on roofing, is we have a lot of large commercial opportunities, and we came into the business thinking that obviously they're a fairly successful business. Just let that part of the business keep going.
Yeah.
Well, then we started to notice that there was a little, we're not making as much money in that department.
In commercial,
and we dove deeper into it and come to find out that our estimator didn't fully understand the difference between gross margin and net margin. And he was estimating what he thought was a gross margin, but was actually a net margin. And then obviously the net margin, we then had to take out all of our operating expenses, and we kind of had to pull that back and ease off the gas a little bit in commercial until we figured it out. We couldn't figure out why we were winning so many jobs, and we're listening to them. Hey, yeah, this is for 35% net. Oh, okay, great. Now let's keep going. 35% net. We're not making any money. Where's all this other money going to? And then I had to dig in, and that's what really got me into looking at materials, labor, trying to figure it out, and then come to find out he wasn't calculating correctly, which we've since fixed. So.
How do you attract like the big commercial clients and keep like a steady flow of them?
That's not, I don't know if I could really answer that. That would be Toby, the original owner, just created such a good network of people that he's constantly got people coming back to him.
Is it like real estate brokers or property managers, or is it?
It's general contractors.
General contractors.
Yeah, we create really good relationships with general contractors, and we're the type of company that, hey, we're a part of your team. We're going to get it done. Like, we'll figure out all the mess after the fact. We know that you need to get the job done. So we've created that kind of relationship. It's give and take. They know sometimes, hey, this was missed. It wasn't on the plans. They're going to have to pay for it. And then obviously the other way around. Sometimes we just kind of got to absorb stuff to keep the job going.
And keep the relationship, right?
Yep. Relationships are everything.
Yeah. I just to be honest, like I feel like sometimes it's tough working with general contractors, like in our experience versus like a homeowner, because the homeowner is usually like, you give them the process that we work on and they're going to follow that process. With the contractor, it's almost like, hey, we don't really care about the contract we signed with you. This is how we work. And this is how we work with all our contractors for the past 40 years. So you're going to get in line or like get out. And that's been very frustrating, hard deals. And we know the importance of building relationships with contractors because it's constant workflow. If you can build that relationship and they're busy, we can keep doing their roofs. But how do you structure that so you keep that relationship fruitful for both parties?
As much as it pains me to say this, we just do what they ask, and we'll go back and talk to them. Like exactly what you said, it is very painful, right? So we've got general contractors. We use ServiceTitan. It's got all the legality put in there. They sign the estimate. It tracks that they signed it, that we didn't approve it. And yet we've got GCs that refuse to sign our contracts. We have to sign theirs. They send us an email. But all that aside, it's just the relationship. We got to, hey, if that's the way you want to do it, if that's what it takes for us to get your business, then I guess we're going to have to comply. Like I've tried to talk to many of them to understand why can't you sign ours? Like, just like you need us to sign your stuff to do your work legally, we need you to do this. And it's resulted in they'll send us an email that says, hey, we approve estimate number so-and-so, but I don't know why they can't just click the button that says approve.
Maybe it's, so it sounds like it's just something that, it's part of the industry where, they want to have their, their power, I guess, maybe because they've been.
But I think it's just that they have a process.
It's their project, it's their project,
exactly.
And they're bringing you on, and they want to. It needs to be done their way for them to feel comfortable. It's just sometimes tough, like when you have your process down of like, hey, even when it comes to progress payments, like the way we do it, like we always have it like where we have progress payments for our customers so that they're paying as the job is completed. And, we have it set up in the right way. When materials arrive, you'll pay materials, when underlayment's on. So it kind of puts the ball in the customer's court and gives them the upper hand. But with the contractors, they're like, we're not doing that payment schedule. Like we're going to and it's already been agreed. The material's there. It's already halfway installed and they're still holding back. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just keep that. Sometimes you have to take some hits to keep that relationship, to have the continuous business over time.
Exactly. Yeah. And for us, a lot of those GC jobs, it's that's what pays the bills. It's the other stuff that, compounds the profits.
What's a financial mistake that almost killed the business?
Well, I kind of already talked about it, just not calculating profit right.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge one. We had a very large job that we had already signed, and we tried to do everything we could to keep that job going. And we finally said, hey, we gotta call this contractor and just say, hey, unfortunately, we need to, will you work with us? Like, we just plain and simple, this is going to cost us money.
I think you said something huge when you said like how the sales team was just telling you that we're making this and that. I think a lot of the time, especially for like a newer business owner, you can listen to the influences around you a lot without actually like diving into it yourself and like checking the facts. Like my experience, I have sales reps that, will do a price increase because that's what needs to be done to cover overhead, to cover expenses and everything. And the sales team's like, it's impossible, the other quotes, and then you start to implement it and then you start to get the sales. Would you agree with that? Would you say that some business owners might go out and get things from their team and it's not the right decision for the business?
Yeah, 100%. It kind of goes back to, again, what we first talked about. It's the price book. Like, as a business owner, there is a lot of chaos. And I had to fight an internal battle with myself when we first came on, and started running Legacy of, I'm not going to be doing any general manager things for a good while. Right. Like, yeah, I need to communicate with the team and build that rapport with them, but I really need to go in and figure out this business. What are we using? Where are we getting our materials from? Is their pricing competitive? Are there any rebates that we could capitalize on? Vendors always offer these rebates with gates, but if you're going to this vendor because they're cheaper for this, okay, that money gets applied to their rebate program, but now you're going to this vendor because with this product, they're cheaper. You'll never hit any gate because you're just constantly spreading the money around.
I didn't even know what a gate was until about 6 months ago.
Oh, really? Yeah. But
most people, I think, who are new to the industry have no idea because like the vendor doesn't want you to know about that.
Well, no, but also what the vendors do is, hey, we'll get you reach this number, not points. We'll send you to Cabo or we'll send you to Hawaii. Yeah. Like, I don't want to go on vacation. I'll fund my own vacation the way I want to. Give me money back to throw it to the bottom line. Again, we're building this business to sell it or to become a platform company to then purchase other businesses to then replicate, wash, rinse, repeat. I don't want to go on vacations because we're going to have so many people. Why does one guy get to go on vacation? Let's throw it back into the business, whether we want to reinvest into marketing, into new tools, into new programs or whatever. Let me dictate what I want to do with that money.
If you could redo 1 year at Legacy, which year and what would it be?
Oh, year one. Sorry guys if you're listening to this, but I would have gotten rid of those guys a long time ago. I would have done that. You have to realize too that this is like the first time that I've been a part of an acquiring group to where I'm the one that has to make the hard decisions. Like before, when it was with Service Champions and Pro Skill, I just get told what, right? Like, hey Drew, I need this information. We're going to need to make a decision on, in this avenue. I'd give it to them. They'd tell me. It was easy to go make those hard calls because it was coming from above. Now that I'm the one that has to make the calls, it gets tough. And, I truly love the people I work with and the relationships that have been built even before I was there. So it makes it super hard. But I would have trusted my gut, gotten rid of the people that I knew weren't going to work. And, yeah, I mean,
it's the dead weight. It's like the dead weight that slowed you down, or
it's not really dead weight. It's more so that from the very beginning, I knew that they weren't going to adopt our systems and processes.
And that's what's slowing it down.
Yeah, it's that. Like people, as an employee or as someone that is doing something for someone else, they want to go with the path least traveled, or most traveled, or however that saying goes, right?
They want to follow everyone else.
Yeah, the path of least resistance, right? Whatever is easiest for me to just say I did this, like whether the information's accurate or I go above and beyond to confirm that this is correct, right? They just do it to say that they're done and move on to the next task. No, I need you to go in there, do it, and do it with knowing what the outcome needs to be. Again, like that's why, tell me what I need to get done, what the end result needs to be, and let me get to it. Not everyone thinks that way, right? They're just like, hey, just give me a list and I just want to check it off. Send out estimates. Okay, sent them out. Did you review them? Did you check to make sure all the materials are accurate? Did you look at the margin? Did you look at the man hours? Like, are we missing anything?
Yeah.
It's that. It's finding the time to really double check your work will save you so much in the long run.
And that's the culture too, right? That goes back to exactly what you're saying with the people, right? It's the culture, because if you have people in there who just have that list and, hey, I sent it, I didn't follow up on it, like it's just things are never getting done, and you need to have the people that have that mindset of like, I want to see this through.
Yeah, I want to see it through, and I also want to see the business succeed. It's not just I want to go to work and do as little as I possibly need to make my paycheck. Like I want go-getters. I want people that want to grow. That's what I had to tell. Goal-oriented. Hey guys, we're building this company. Yes, we acquired it. This is where we're going. If you want to stay on, stay on. If you don't, get off. And this is what we need from you. Help us build this into something that's going to create opportunities for you, just like what ProSkill did for me. If it wasn't for ProSkill, I wouldn't be here today.
What's it like working with guys like Ishmael and Tyler and all these big guys that you're mentioning?
Personally, it's amazing because it takes out all of the doubt or the wondering of, is this going to work? Is this all going to be worth it? Working with guys who have done it and have been my mentors, like we don't always agree eye to eye. Ishmael will have different ideas than we do. And I say we because, a lot of people have, especially with private equity, they think that what they're doing here in California, they can do in Arizona, and that's not the truth. Like that's just, there's a totally different demographic of people and the way that they think. Yeah, it'll work to some extent, but not like it does here. So Ishmael will have some ideas like that. Travis will have ideas. Tyler will have ideas, but what really works is that we all sit down and we work through them. Like, hey, really, Tyler and I have a really good pulse on what's actually happening in the business. Travis and Ishmael, they're really good visionaries. They know where things need to go. So we just all sit down and talk and really walk through the process, not just to get to where we need to, but what does that process look in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years? Or what does that process look like with 200 employees? Is it scalable? That's very important for any new business owner, is to really think it through as, what I'm creating today, is it going to work for where I want to be? And that's, you really have to sit down, take a couple hours, whatever it is, like just make sure that time that you're going to invest into developing a process can be replicable with 10 times the amount of people, 10 times the amount of workload.
So to give some context, Ishmael sold his company for $100 million, Next Gen Air Conditioning, California, right? So these are big guys, right? That you're getting around and like are working with you, like partnering with you, all that kind of stuff, right? So what does a conversation look like with guys like that when you guys are talking about business that you guys are working on?
I mean, to be honest, it's pretty candid. It's kind of like a conversation you and I are having. Like, hey guys, from a business perspective, what decisions do we need to make? Who do we need to let go of? Who do we need to bring on? How does it's no fluff. And that's really what I appreciate. Like, hey, yeah, this may not seem like it would work, but it's going to work. Don't cut back on the marketing. Just keep it going. Like, yeah, we're going to have ebbs and flows. Sometimes we'll have a lot more of a downturn, but just keep it going. It will work. So it's
having that reassurance from them that somebody has done it is one part of it. The wisdom,
the wisdom, right? Like they've been through it all. Tyler and Travis started ProSkill in 2009. What a hell of a time to start a business.
So if you're seeing like a drop in leads, keep pushing the sources. Like even though
keep pushing, but don't keep pushing blindly, right? Like
track the numbers.
If there's marginal success, keep doing it. But if you're like, hey, I've received nothing from this the past 3 months. Or I'm spending, $5,000 a month and all I'm getting are little repairs. Like, okay, yeah, don't just blindly follow it, but, trust your gut. But also know that you got to risk it a little bit too.
Risk it to get the biscuit.
Risk it to get the biscuit. I was going to say that.
How do you believe that you are like the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with?
Oh, I will tell you that I wouldn't even say I'm the average. Like, I feel imposter syndrome all the time. Like, I should not be with these guys. I don't feel like I'm at their caliber, but I'll strive to do it, and I keep doing it, and they keep having me do what I'm doing. So,
by being around them, are you going in that direction?
Oh hell yeah! Like I said, I refuse to fail. I will keep. A big thing for me this year is trying not to work as much, but here I am on vacation. I don't consider this work, but I go and we'll go out and do stuff, and I'm taking phone calls, trying to keep the business going, even though I try to take this time to relax. What I found is I just like working. I like being a part of a team that we're a group of guys that all enjoy similar things. We go out, have fun, but at the end of the day, we're running a business to provide for our families and live the best life we can. So I'm really enjoying it.
How do you see AI changing the home services and roofing industry in the next 5 years?
Completely different. What we're doing today is going to be non-existent.
Talk to me about that. Like, what do you see in your brain, bro?
Oh, okay. So, ServiceTitan has just come out or recently came out with a product that was only released to roofing companies called spec-based templating. Prior, it was called exteriors. So way back in my ProSkill days, again, automation is everything I like. Let's take out the human error. What can I let a computer dictate for me to make me money? So what spec-based templating is utilizing those same forms that I have done on every survey, whether it's an air conditioning survey for air conditioning company, plumbing, so on and so forth. It will automatically select items from the price book that correlate with whatever that answer is. And so that type of automation in AI, it just allows you to completely we could completely get rid
without being so technical, like give like an example.
We could get rid of in-person salespeople.
Okay.
So what I envision the home services being like is Amazon. You go to that company's website, you plug in what you want, it spits you out a price, you hit buy.
Crew shows up.
Yep, that's it. People like to be in control, and this allows them to be in control. Hey, yeah, there's going to be a disclaimer that says, hey, if any of the information you provided was off, you're going to be subject to a change order. But for the most part, right? Like, do you shop on Amazon?
100%. I'd rather not go and pick it up.
Exactly. Customers or clients, even for large projects, if it's created appropriately and it gives them that trust that, hey, they're not missing anything and I'm not going to be slapped with a 2x bill at the end, they're going to want to go that route. No one wants to have to deal with anybody anymore. I don't want to have a salesman come in and, try to schmooze me, because unfortunately that's the connotation that comes with the salesperson.
It's like the Tesla model, right? Like when you go and buy a Tesla,
you just go on the website, order what you want.
Go on the website, even if you go in the store where they have them like in shopping malls and things like that. The sales rep just goes on the website and is like, there's no negotiation. It's just like, here, I can help you choose what you need. It's really just showing the customer how to buy online.
Yep, and that's where.
And you see that's where it's going with
100%
with the roofing industry.
There's already air conditioning companies that have that. I mean, ProScale, that's what we did. We had all of our pricing online. The only step we were missing was you couldn't hit purchase. I really think that that's where it's going to be. So the more you can gear your business up, everyone's always so afraid to put their prices online because of the chuck in the truck or the guy who's just trying to win the job. But one thing I always like to tell people is rising tides lift all ships. If we all charge the same, then we all win. You don't have to do as many jobs to make the same amount. Like, obviously don't overcharge, charge within reason, or charge what you actually need to.
How do you come up with what to charge in your business?
Well, you got to take what your operating expense is. What does it cost to just run the business? Rent, utilities, your office employees, stuff like that. And then what are the materials it takes? It's really three separate things. Your operating expense, the materials, and the labor. You take all that, and then you figure out how much you need to mark it up to make a profit. And
labor and materials obviously going to be variable every month, right? Because so you're going to have more jobs or less jobs. So the material and labor are gonna move up and down. Your operating expense will probably stay the same, right?
It will stay the same as a dollar amount, but obviously not as a percentage. So I'm always a law of averages guy. I like to take 3 months, 6 months, and just say, hey, our operating expense has been at about this level. Let me use that to factor my pricing. And then obviously as we become more successful, our operating expense will reduce, and now we can adjust our price.
What are your personal and business goals over the next 5 years?
My business goals are to get Legacy Roofing to 15 to 20 million in top line revenue. And then obviously that we are able to sell it and either become the platform or move on to the next venture. Personal is just, I just want to be successful and help people achieve their goals, be a part of something great, which I already am. And then probably grow price flow to where I can just continue to help other business owners. Like I truly enjoy it. Price flow was,
let's talk about price flow because we didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't even put that in the intro. So
that's fine.
So what is price flow for someone who doesn't know?
Price flow is just a consulting business that I started to help people with questions that I was already getting asked all the time with all the connections I have through Ishmael, Tyler, and Travis. I just decided, hey, instead of giving it out for free, why don't I charge for it? So it's just a consulting for ServiceTitan. It's primarily just ServiceTitan because I know so much about it and how to do things and all the things I've learned over the years. If anyone needs help with ServiceTitan on how to do whatever it is that they want to do, odds are I know how to do it.
So let me just say this. I'm gonna do a plug for you.
Yeah.
So ServiceTitan customer service sucks. Okay. And so every time my team or I have a problem, we call you.
Yes.
And then we get the answer in 2 minutes. You hop on your laptop virtually, you get it fixed for us. And your pricing is super fair, and you can do everything. And every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm underutilizing the software like crazy, because I am 100%. And so it's everything. I mean, you got us from the point of where we were just going to say, screw this, I'm calling Amex and blocking ServiceTitan, charge it back and deal with that. And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to switch to an easier CRM. And then I was at a point, I think November, December, and our revenue was horrible because of the holidays and cash flow was bad. And I went to Ishmael's office and I was like, bro, what do I need to do for my business? He looked at me, laughed. He goes, you don't even know what overhead is. And then and then we talked for a little while, and he made me understand that this is just part of business. The only thing that's going to turn around any situation when you're low point is sales. get back out there, get sales. And that's, if you have the money, you're going to be able to solve it. So go out and get the sales. And then he told me to talk to you to get ServiceTitan set up. And then once we connected, you literally put our whole, you showed our whole team how to use the software. Like, you got us set up. You told me how to get the attention of ServiceTitan the right way.
Yep.
And then I got like some guy over there more high up that he actually would give me his cell phone, answer the calls, and we were going on these 15 minutes. The training onboarding with ServiceTitan is horrible, but once you actually have it set up, or if I was to do this all over again, I would have just went to you from the jump, and then just you set it up the way it needed to be done and everything. After this, I have to talk to you about it because there's still a bunch of craziness. But
we'll get it all sorted.
But what you're doing with price flow, and it's not just you have a team. We need help with like our finance. Like, you had a person to help us with the whole integrations with our books and all of that. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, because I think it's definitely a huge gap in the industry, that there's not a lot of consultants out there that really, give you that personal experience and help you get that set up. And I think that we're going to obviously continue to keep using you to utilize the software more, because where it's going, like what you said, the direction of it, I think it's already there to some extent.
Yeah.
And the younger, like the next generation of homeowners and stuff, there's no way they're going to want to deal with 5 contractors coming to the house to get a bid. They want to click on 3 different links on their website. They want the information quick. They're going to ask their AI, what's the best roofer near me? And I think in the future that we're gonna have like these robots installing the roofs also. I mean,
we've looked into that. Have you seen the shingle robot?
I haven't. No. There is one.
Oh yeah. It goes.
I have to do a video on that.
Yeah, it's crazy. But to go back, just to clarify on price flow. So, we really just help people, just like what you said. It's nothing super strict. Whatever you need help with, if I know how to do it, I will. I've got a really good background. I've got Christy, which helps with all the accounting. I don't know that much about the accounting side of ServiceTitan. She's got it all figured out. Got a good friend of mine, Travis. He helps me with all the coding and all that stuff. We just try to make everything as simple as possible, so that you can run your business. ServiceTitan's implementation, we kind of have to go back and look at why is it the way it is. All of their people are great people, definitely not saying they're bad at all, but they're inundated with a lot of clients, and they only know certain avenues of ServiceTitan. Where Priceful comes in is, I'm an actual operator that knows how to use it and how to run a successful business off of it. Right? I try not to use the workarounds. I try to understand exactly why ServiceTitan wants the information where they do, because I don't want to limit myself or my clients as to when new features come out. I can't utilize this because we created, this roadblock, which is what happened at ProSkill. Our price book was very robust, but we didn't have all the information that came in. And as they came out with, I don't remember what the product was, I had to spend a month going back and redoing everything to make it to where we could utilize this product. I think it was inventory, but yeah, super important.
And I just want to say, I love ServiceTitan. Like, I know the value in it, and I think that it's the best CRM that you can use if you're in the home service industry, because if you want to scale your business, right? If you want to just be chucking the truck, go buy a software for $20 a month, $100 a month that can make you estimates, and that's it. But if you want to actually build a business that you want to sell one day and scale it, you need a software that can support that. And ServiceTitan is built for that.
Yep.
And so it's very robust. It's like setting up a Salesforce in your office or something. You need to have a professional set it up properly, and that's obviously what you're doing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you plan to stay involved after private equity buys in, or do something new?
I mean, I'll do whatever I need to. I foresee that I'll have to be involved to some extent, because just my knowledge of how it's running. My plan is to hopefully we get it to a point I can bring someone in or elevate someone within to take over what I've been doing. We got a great team, Josh is our production manager. He manages all of the day-to-day for things going on. We got Logan and my brother handling orders and logistics. So I definitely plan on elevating those guys. And if the opportunity comes for me to move on and move to a different business or something like that, like I always enjoy a challenge. So I'll probably just add that to my plate, kind of like adding price flow to my plate. Just keep adding to it and going from there.
What's your ultimate vision for life and business over the next 10 years?
Well, in my case, money definitely buys me happiness. It buys my family happiness and freedom. So I hope to, I hope that we're able to sell legacy, make a few bucks, get some toys, get some long-time security, and not have to worry about my family and let them just enjoy life. And then just keep going. I don't think I'll ever be able to not work. Like, I would just go crazy. So probably just keep building businesses, keep riding along with the guys as long as they allow me to, and keep building great things.
What legacy do you want to leave in the home services space?
I don't know, man. I don't think I've really even put much thought to that. Like, I always thought it would be cool to have a name that people know. Will I ever get there? I don't know. We'll see. But, something I always tell, like, Travis, Tyler, and Ishmael is sell the dream. Like, they are living the dream. They're living the life that I want to live. Be able to go out, run super successful businesses, have fun, have people look up to them, create awesome cultures for people to work in and other companies to aspire to be. Like, they're truly living the dream, and that's the dream that I want to live.
This is my last question. If someone wants to follow like your exact steps, what's the 12-month roadmap?
12-month roadmap. You're going to have to clarify a little bit, like, as far as the steps to
Imagine there's like a young guy out there wanting to start a roofing company. What would you tell him to do? Like, he doesn't have capital. He doesn't have, like, he wants like a 12-month roadmap to like get himself going.
Easy. So unfortunately, it's probably not like what everyone else is going to say, but I'm going to say, do your research, find a company that you want to be like. Obviously, don't pirate any of their processes or procedures, but go get experience working for a very well-run business so you can see what is successful and limit the amount of mistakes that you'll make. Go work for them for a year or two, work your way up, try to learn the ins and outs of the business, and then once you've got that down, hopefully by that point you've got enough money and you can invest in yourself and start your own business. Because what are the statistics? What's the statistics of first-time businesses failing? It's pretty high. So go get the experience as much as you probably don't want to. Go get the experience, and then when you feel like you're equipped to run a business that you would want to work for, go do that.
Where can people find you?
I'm not really that much on social media, but you can find me on Facebook, just Drew Zanga. My dad has the same name, so make sure you don't follow him. My friend Travis and I started a newsletter. It's called The Workbench, THEWRKBNCH. It's just going to be a home services newsletter. We're going to go on there, publish articles. Actually, we'd love to have you on there.
I'd love to.
Yeah. Instagram, same thing. Just look for my name, but not really heavily involved in any type of marketing or anything on there, but I'd be happy to help. You can message me on there. We'd love to give anybody any insight, steer them in the right direction. Or if you're interested in price flow, info at trypriceflownow.com.
Drew, that was powerful. Appreciate you pulling back the curtain and sharing your real journey, the wins, losses, mindset, and strategy. These are the kind of conversations that move people forward, and I know this will stick with our audience. Thanks for tuning in to Built to Scale. If you got value from today's episode, do me a quick favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone building something great. Your support helps the show grow. It makes it easier for me to bring on even bigger names and incredible guests like Drew Zanga, so thank you so much. Follow me, Quinn Vincent, on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok for daily behind-the-scenes insights and momentum to fuel your journey. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, and remember, legacy isn't given, it's built.